All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is February 26, 2018. This is a Monday night webinar, and the title of tonight's webinar is, Do you know exactly where to draw your lines? And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? If not, we're going to go ahead and get started here. I'm going to show you a chart real quick. This is not a chart I use by any means, but what I want to mainly show you first off is that this is like a 5-minute chart. You know, lots of traders use like a 5-minute chart, and why in the world they do is beyond me. But anyway, you know, to see the trades on this chart is not that easy. You see what I mean? Look at the size of some of those candles and things like that. You know, and then they add Bollinger Bands so they can tell, wow, it's at the bottom of the Bollinger Band. Well, so was it here. Now it's here and then it bounces. And of course, they've got their stochastics on and their CCI and all that. But what you really need to do on your charts is throw that chart away, okay, and draw on your charts, okay? Drawing on your charts is critical to your success as a trader. Now, if you learn to see without drawing on the chart, then you've pretty much mastered the art of drawing on your charts without drawing on your charts. Does that make sense? There you go. All right, so drawing on your charts is critical. We like to draw wedges. We like to draw use our predictors as our ellipses. We draw boxes. We use horizontal lines. We use trend lines. We will tell you whether the trade's going to be up or down, or you know, that's no bias if it's both ways. And then we draw channels, okay? First off, you want to determine if you are trending or if you're chopping with your horizontal lines and your trend lines, okay? And you have to know what the minor trend, the secondary trend, the medium trend, and even the longer term trend are. Which way is the market really heading at this particular point in time? You need to know what the trend is on your left of the screen, left of the chart, and the right on the chart, okay? Then draw your trend lines, horizontal lines, wedges, and boxes at that point, okay? Use our bands for continued trends. Those are really good. And remember this, if you miss a thrust, wait for the retrace or minor lightning breakouts with very tight stops. Because how many of you ever seen it, for instance, where the market just thrusts up and you think, doggone it, I missed it, and then you take a chance and you hit the button? Well, most of the time when you hit the button, that's right when they're going to retrace. I've done it myself. You know, you get greedy and you think, wow, this is just going to go up forever. This is going to be awesome. Not necessarily. Okay, and then you get in a stop out. Okay, so if you do miss a thrust, either wait for the retrace, or if you do take a trade, don't let it go back against you. Use these minor lightning breakouts or even a bar close, but you know, with very tight stop. If a trade's going to go your way, it's going to go your way. Okay, use lightning 1 or 2 as your minor breakouts and your retraces, and you use lightning 3 as a medium trend and watch for breakouts and retracements. Okay, then you use Object Trader tools to see the clear trade setups, and then you use Object Trader itself to make the trade using the object types. It makes it real simple. And you know, if you'll actually put this into memory right here, this is going to help you an awful lot to trade. Okay, now there's quite a few people here on trial tonight even, so what I want to show you next is what you want to look at as far as these little minor trends. Okay. Now, when I talk about, yeah, you can just save it by clicking a screenshot, sure. Or, you know, there's basically even tools that you can use and things like that. But you should just be able to click on the window and even alt print screen, even put it into paint or something like that. Okay. Now, on your charts, each and every day, you have what is considered to be a minor trend, minor breakouts, minor lightning. That's called lightning 1. Okay. And as long as it's trending, you're staying in the trade, right? If you use lightning 2 instead, as long as it's trending, you're staying in the trade. Okay. So for instance, if you were in this trade right now, let's say one of these trades right here, you would either have your stop here with lightning 2, or you would have your stop here with lightning 1. Okay. This would be a secondary, and that's more than likely that swing right there. Okay. Now, if you're using longer term swings, like you're a longer term trader, you actually want to use this one, because what you're looking for on a trend is a continuation in higher lows and higher highs. And, you know, until it takes this out right here, it's not heading down even on what we call lightning 3. Everybody see that? Okay. So, and always remember that when you're trading with like your lightning 1, to give an example, you know, lightning 1 is just strictly a bar up, a bar down, you know, 2 bars up, 2 bars down, or whatever would be lightning 2, because we're only looking at single bars on the lightning 4. Now it could go up, for instance, you know, 3 bars and then only come down 1 to make a swing of lightning 1. But it can also make a swing with just a bar up, a bar down, and a bar up again. That's the way we designed it. Okay. Now, real quick, for anybody that's been in the room and you've seen us draw on the charts and everything, okay? One thing you want to be looking for anytime that you're trading is you want to look at the previous swing. You know, for instance, I'll just start down here. Everybody can see my cursor, right? Let's just pretend this doesn't even exist over here, okay? This is a low, this is a high, and this is a higher low only when it takes out this swing. Everybody see that? I can't stretch this out or anything. This is just a picture. But what I'm talking about here is you don't know this is a low and this is starting to head up until you get a high taken out and a higher low. So you have a low, a high, a higher low. You know it's a higher low as soon as it takes out that little swing right there. Same thing here. You know, when it thrusts up, pulls back, you don't know that's your swing because it could come down here or even here or whatever. But when it takes out the swing to the left, you know that this is your identified swing. And that's extremely important when you're trading. Okay, I'll show you. Let's see, we'll just draw a little bit on the chart. Everybody see what I'm talking about here? Because, you know, you don't know this is your low right here until it doesn't take out that previous low. So therefore, it has to be a higher low to be continuing on a trend, regardless if you're looking at this trend, or this trend. They're virtually the same thing. They're just minor trends, secondary type trends, and a little bit more of a medium trend. But they work exactly the same way. You know, you notice you've got several higher lows along this one. You've only got one here because this particular chart went up, came back, gave a higher low only when this was taken out. I can't draw straight, obviously, with this little tool because these don't work over here. This is a paint object, okay? But you know that this is your new higher low whenever they take that out. Well, if they were to come down, let's say, for instance, they came down and then they went back up, is that a higher low? Anybody? And by what I just said, it's not, right? Because it has to take this out. So that's what you're looking at. Until it takes this swing out, this is not your new established low where you can put that stop, okay? If you're using this particular chart. Now, if you're using this one, you just simply put your stop, raise your stop, raise your stop, raise your stop, and raise your stop. On this one over here, you'd simply be here first, then here, and then here. And it's really that easy to trade the markets based on minor lightning, secondary lightning, and lightning 3. Okay, now let's go to some real charts and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And by the way, you need to diagnose every single chart whenever you decide to start trading. Okay, because you don't know, for instance, if this is going to continue up. You know, right now you have a high, you have a low, you have a lower high, but you don't have a lower low. Okay, now on this chart, let's look and see. By the same thing I just mentioned a minute ago, basically you have this going on right now. You have a low, a high. We know this is our low because it took out the swing, right? Now, until it did, couldn't it have come down even further? This is why we take this trade too, because, for instance, it could thrust up like this, come down into our phantom area and take off. In this case, it didn't. It just came into mid-band. When did we know that? When it took out the high over here. You don't know that this is your low until it takes out that high. Now you know that it's your low because it did take out that high. Okay? So on the same analogy, right now we've got this. Do we have a higher high yet? And the answer is no, right? So we don't know if this is coming down lower than this, but it could literally come down into this area even. Let me just move this a little bit. See if I can, there we go. It could come down into here. Now, just pretend those prices are down in here. Isn't that still an uptrend? You know, because you look over here and you say, well, yeah, Gary, you have a low here, a high, a higher low, and a higher high. Isn't that a higher low if it came even down into here? So what we do as traders, as we trade as this thing stair steps. Okay, for instance, especially when it comes into mid-band, that's when you want to really take advantage of some of these trades. Now, we've got an area on the chart called the money band. Let me just show it to you. We keep it a little bit on the light side because see this shadowed area right here? This is line 5. Let me just go over how you read our scripts just real quick. This is line 0, okay, right at the bottom of the shadow. This is line 1. This is line 2. This is line 3. See where that shadow is? And the midband is always line 4. And then from there you have line 5, line 6, line 7, and line 8. Okay? Now, when we're looking at this trade, this is an uptrend, right? There's not a question about it. Even if it came down into here, it could actually come down as low as even here within a couple of ticks, even change our background and everything, and this could still easily do this again. Pop right up. Wouldn't that still be an uptrend? See? So one thing about it, you know, especially when you get into trend changes, we look for these phantom trades because sometimes they will retrace that deep. And when they do, we're going to still take them long as they haven't taken out our identified swing to the left. Okay? Now, without these on the chart, like I said, I would have a hard time seeing this with 5-minute charts and stochastics and all that other garbage. It's not garbage, obviously, because, you know, the guy that designed stochastics years ago and the guy that designed CCI and all that, I mean, there's no question about it. They're brilliant indicators. But what makes your decision in trading most times? It's based on price action. Indicators lag. Price action never lags because price action is always doing what it's doing. Okay, so just like I was saying here, if this comes down to here and decides to go on up, then we're happy campers, right? I mean, we're just tickled pink. So that's what we're kind of looking for right now, aren't we? You know, unfortunately, it's already bounced off a mid-band. But let me show you how to draw on your charts and you'll be able to tell where it's coming next. We've taught this for years and it absolutely works quite well. Now, does it mean the price will exactly hit the line that I'm going to draw? Usually within a couple of ticks, yes. Okay, so let's see where this has been first off. It's been right there, hadn't it? Okay, so looking to the left to trade the right, we say, okay, we had a thrust down, retrace, thrust down. So we have another little shelf right there that they have not checked yet. And that would still give you a higher low. Okay, so if this comes down to this line and decides to bounce, then maybe we want to go ahead and get in this trade. Okay, and then after that, it'll probably thrust up and then even check this one here, or it's going to just continue breaking up. It may actually check it though, because they usually will check. Usually, if you can draw lightning on the chart, they're going to check the swing. It's amazing how they do that. I'll draw the lightning and we'll see if they check all the swings. That's a lightning 2. Let's go with lightning 1. Yeah, just for the fun of it. Okay, so they checked this one here. See, that's even a swing, even on lightning 1. See it right there at that line? Thrust up above, pull back and kiss, thrust up, pull back, thrust up. So they come back and kiss where they haven't checked yet. Okay, these minor checks like this, they're going to come back and check these. And this is the whole idea of this mid-band too, is these thrusts and retraces. Okay, because you're going to be able to get some really, really good trades if you just learn to draw on your charts. Let me get rid of that lightning just real quick. Let's draw it again though, where we think it's going to be. We think it's going to come right down to more than likely that area right there. And keep in mind that we've also got on our horizontal lines, our numbers go with the price, which is kind of nice. Now, also keep in mind though that they don't move and snap to the tick. So they're not going to be accurate as much on like NQ because it does in 0.25, 0.25 and all that. This one pretty much, if I move it, it goes a tick at a time. Okay. But on a NQ or something like that, it won't do that the same. So when we say, for instance, on NQ, you might be looking for 525, 0.25, it may say 0.33 on the line. That's no big deal. Okay. Because we're going to draw it at the swing. And we're going to get rid of lightning 1. And we're going to check our other chart now. All right, let's check oil and see what's happening on oil. Always look and see where they've been. That's really important. Wow, that's really been going up. All right, I've only got through the 22nd. Thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust. So how many thrusts have we had? We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is actually pretty overbought anytime you get that many thrusts and everything. So always watch that also, just in case. But keep in mind that we've got software that can take the trade either direction this decides to go. Okay. For instance, I draw on this chart. And let's go ahead and draw. We'll draw lightning 1. All right, let's see. We have a high, low, higher, high. So this is our established swing right across here, like so. Okay. And this is a little established swing here that I hadn't checked just yet. And let's see if they've done, well, they did a phantom. Okay, so we'll have to be careful of our next phantom, but we will take it. Okay, so let's just see what this chart does next. And let's be prepared for whatever it does. All right. Let me go ahead and get rid of this one. And what we'll do is we'll trade the YM chart. Because I want to teach as we trade it. Let's see, do you pay any heed to the positioning of the predictors above in this case? You mean on the oil? Or on the YM one? Which one was it? Okay, I'll wait for your answer, but that's okay. All right. So let's see here. We haven't gotten up to this top yet. So, more than likely this one's going to be okay for a long. The other one's getting a little bit worn out. Let's look and see how worn out this one is. notice I've got wrong colors over here. It's because I've got basically some crummy data on here. Let's just look and see what we got. You know, they're about to take advantage of bringing all that money back that they took out of these markets, aren't they? This is going to be harder to check. YM's got so darn many bars. Thrust, retrace, thrust, big thrust, retrace. Yeah, they've still got some room. That was a huge move on that leg right there, but that's usually a good thing going. So let's go ahead and see if we can get in this trade. Now, we've already missed our mid-band trade. I don't like that as much, but we do have this line. This has been checked over here to the left, so we're going to try to bounce off of this line right here. Okay, so let's see if it'll go ahead and do that. We'll do a couple of contracts and just check it. Just real quick. Everybody see how I drew on that chart? Now, keep in mind, though, even though these are getting a little lower like that, that's only because it's retracing into like mid-band. Okay, let's see if we can get a little trade here. We'll draw this line here again. And it's actually been under that, so it's actually been here. So I'm gonna take it if it bounces off this line right here. If we get that, let's just see if we do. And by the way, we've got tools that we can actually take this with. I'll go ahead and use Sniper, and we'll do a touch +2 long off of that line, and then I'll hit enter to activate it. So let's see if we can get that trade. I'll speed it up just a little bit. Hopefully we'll get the trade. It's getting close. Getting real close. I'm going to go ahead and do 3 ticks just so I can get that trade, because I think it's going to hit that 69. It looks like it will. Or 59, sorry. Now remember, I drew that line based on lightning of areas that they have not hit yet. Because they, you know, when you look at 4-range charts, they're going to check those little swings. The most important ones you're looking at are these ones with the numbers. Okay, but see, it's already hit that one. So now it's got to look for this one. See if we can get it. May not come down. Didn't come down low enough for me. Let's see if it'll come down any lower. Now we could get ready to take this on a little breakout trade, but keep in mind that's got resistance right there to the left. It looks like we're going to be okay. Maybe. There we go. We're getting there. There we go. We just got us a trade. Okay. Now, why did I take that trade there? And keep in mind, this is probably going to go a little bit lower. That's fine with me because I went ahead and put touch +3. But I really expect it to hit 59. Let's see if it does. I don't trade at nth o'clock at night, which is what this was, but I get up about 6:30 usually. I'll go ahead and add one if it comes down to actually at the line. Let's see if we can get something. Otherwise, we're just going to be fine anyway. It's fine with me, the way it's doing. Okay, now usually when you get into a trade, you want to get one target out of the way so that, you know, you want to trade for more money than just, you know, $50 here and there. And this one would go all the way up here to this predictor. That's the last predictor right there, so that's where I'd want that one to target out. Okay. And that's the way you draw your lines on your charts. But what if you actually missed this little trade right here? Anybody? What do you think would more than likely happen? Let's watch and see. See if we can figure out, just like I did, if we can get some lines drawn on this chart. There you go. You just got $200. Okay, and that's not too shabby of a trade, by the way. But keep in mind that they will usually pull back and give you, watch this and see if it doesn't do it. It looks like it's going to do it to me because it's trying to close down. What do you think? Let's slow this down just a little bit. Where has it not been? Anybody? You got to hurry and make the decision because it's right here. It busted out of resistance. So this is support. There's your little lightning swing right across here. Everybody see that? Let's just add one. Because we just got in one, right? So we can add one right there. That's a swing. Let's see if we can get a little addition here. Touch plus one. Now, keep in mind that, oh, I didn't turn on my sniper. Yeah, I just missed it. That's okay. My sniper wasn't turned on. I didn't have a dot there. Duh. Okay, so we're in one. That's fine. We'll just go ahead and stay in the one. All right. Keep your target out of the way for your runner. Okay. Now, let me slow this down for just a minute because drawing lines on your charts is critical to your trading success. Notice I drew that in exactly the right spot. Okay. That's what this webinar is about, is to teach you how to see these lightning swings on here. Okay. Now, if this breaks out in a big way, it's not going to necessarily check these anymore. They don't have to. Okay. But when they're bipping around sideways and everything, they check pretty much all of these little areas. Now, if I wanted to add, let's say, for instance, that, you get up at 12 o'clock at night. Okay. It's time to do a little trade. Well, what you can do if you want to is box this little area in right here. Let's just go ahead and box it. Insert. And we'll go for a touch. And we'll see if we can get one added to this thing real quick. Now it's got to touch it, or like even touch plus one, or it's going to have to go out of the top of it. If I do touch plus one, if it comes to even within one tick of the bottom of that box and then bips back up one tick, it'll fire one contract. Okay. Now I'm thinking it might even come back as low as right here. Let's see if it does. It might. But keep in mind that it broke out a little bit. Now we could bring our stop by what I taught just a little while ago on these pictures. Let me see if I can find, bear with me a second. I'll get the other picture. I've got them both. I must have closed that other one out. Let me just reopen it. Yeah, I must have closed it out. But based on what I was just saying just a little bit ago, don't you think that we could move our stop to one of these little areas? Right? Just like I was teaching. So if you look at the chart, wouldn't the stop need to be right under here? And I usually like to use exit on close. Because if you look at it, it's a thrust, it's a retrace, it's a thrust. That is an identified swing. Okay? That means that I can pretty much trust that if I plan on still heading up. Now, would I be giving back some? Yep, unfortunately. But what if it goes all the way up here? You've got to trust the swings on that runner. Okay, notice I got in an extra one, so we're fine. Let's go ahead and speed this up. It's a little slow. And by the way, if I wanted another one, all I'd have to do is turn that one off, turn that one on, and maybe take a touch plus two, and then don't let it go against me. That would add one more if I wanted it. Okay, watch and see if it'll add it. 2. Touch plus 2 will be 2 ticks out of that box and a confirmation tick. 1 would be actually 2 ticks out of the box. Touch plus 1. See if we get anything. Now keep in mind what I'm showing you here. We may retrace a little bit more, and that would be fine with me. But what I want to show you is if you do happen to miss a breakout, you can take this little trade right here because this looks like this is really rocketing up. Now let me show you how to make sure that you don't lose any money on it. See how it's above the box? Make sure it stays above the box, or get rid of the one. You know, if that closes, for instance, like underneath this swing, maybe I don't want that trade. Okay, because that's now an identified swing, but just barely identified. Okay, I can actually bring my stop under here as long as this is an identified swing. See there? See how that works? Okay, so drawing on your charts is absolutely critical to your success as a trader. And watching this mid band is literally just gold on your chart because, you know, for instance, let's say that you weren't even in a trade right now. I'm going to go ahead and let this one ride though, because this is looking pretty good. Sometimes you need to stay up at night and trade, I guess. But let's watch it. We've got 3 on. We're going to take some profit if this doesn't keep making higher levels. It's got to close. Close up. There you go. That's a little identified swing, isn't it? Let me get this box out of the way. You know, the beauty of our region box too is that you can move this thing, you can size it, you can do anything you want with it live on the chart. Because for instance, if I wanted to go ahead and add to this, all I'd have to do is get my little box back up there, turn that on, and it would actually add one. And I can also even take it away with our new scale out feature too. Okay, see, we got long turned on, touch +1, no ads yet. Okay. Still holding minor support. This little lighting stuff really works. There's your 4. See how quickly that adds to your bottom line if you do it that way? Now, this is starting to run away. What do you think? Team, you've traded with us long enough to see what goes on in these markets. See how that hit 33? It's pulling back a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and take 1 off if this bar closes down. If it closes up, I'll stick with it. But anytime they thrust like that, how many of you have seen it thrust like that and then hold it and hold it and hold it and it comes all the way back down to where it broke out? Don't let it do that. If that closes down, I'm going to take 1 off. I can even do that with this. Bar close, short one. If that closes, it'll take 1 of those contracts off. Now, let me ask you a quick question. Where's the next trade on this chart? Yeah, that took 1 off. Where's the next trade on this chart? We got a little tool on here called Predictor that'll actually try to show you. Let's draw our lightning. Thrust, retrace, thrust. Lightning swing is where? Right there. Okay. If we're going to head up, what's the rule of thumb? You have to have a higher low. Okay. Even though this is minor lightning, believe me, it works. What's this? Wow, that's lightning 2. It's not even bipping back. Let's do lightning 1. All right, everybody see that? Right there, you have a high, you have a low, you have barely higher high. You have a low, you have a higher high. So this is your identified swing, like secondary, but when they're within 2 ticks of each other like that, I put this right here. So this is your high, your low, your higher high. If they're going to head up, they need a higher low. And we've got the tools to get in this trade. So let's see if we can get one. Mid-band, by the way, if you're trading long trades, you want to be sure and watch for as close to mid-band as possible, at or below mid-band on a long, if at all possible, and the opposite on a short. So above, you know, on a short or at. Now, if it goes at mid-band, see, here's our swing that's identified. Mid-band is right here. That would still be a higher low, wouldn't it? Then I draw my lines on my chart exactly where it hasn't checked yet. Okay, you want to see if we can get a trade? Drawing our lines on our chart, just like I'm teaching tonight. Draw them exactly where They haven't been yet. Okay, see it's on top of that swing. Now there could be a second line. You could draw this one right here, like so. And it is right there at that line, but they haven't checked this one either. So I'm going to see if they'll check my second line down, and then I'm going to pop a market order. And I'd love for it to be a yellow bar instead of a blue one, but we may not get a yellow bar. Predictor is saying we're not quite there yet. Predictor is saying my second line. We'll see if we can get a trade. Wow, this is slow. I'll speed it up again. Hopefully I can get this trade. I'll do it about 15 times. Okay, it bounced off of 14, didn't it? Let's see if it'll go a little bit lower. It has not checked that 12-ish, whatever that one is, 13. Should bounce off of 13. That's where it should bounce. Went a little higher already. We just missed that one. It bounced perfectly off of 14 instead. So we're okay. We're going to still stick with our, well, it shows we got one long and we got two on here, so I'm not sure exactly on that. Not sure on that. That may have been a bar close or something. Let's see if we can get this. I'm going to go ahead and close it out and just go back in. My object trader's acting up. That's not good. Let me see if, because this is not letting me close that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and close the position. Unfortunately, it'll kill object trader like that. But what we're going to do is we're going to put object trader back on the chart and we'll try to get that trade again. If you ever run into anything like that with market replay, it happens more with market replay. All right, so we're going to put object trader back on. We're up 775. We still haven't tested our line yet, and we still haven't tested our mid band. So this is our sweet spot right here for a trade. Now we missed that one just a second ago. It was a perfect line I drew though, wasn't it? We just missed it. See if we can get it, check one of those others. Look at that, it's coming right down to it. There you go, see it? Everybody see that? What do you think? Couldn't you box it? Sure you could. Just hit insert, long, we'll go 2. And let's see if we can get something. I'll do touch plus 2. May go a little lower, that's fine. But we're doing what we call in the room boxing in. Boxing in is critical to you making money in the market. Now you'll notice that I'm not turning on short though. This is not a short chart. Now could it become a short chart? Yes. But what it would have to do, it would have to break below support, come back and kiss it, and roll over. Okay, we haven't even had a phantom trade on this chart yet. See, there's no phantoms yet. Phantom means that it would come down deeper into what we call the phantom area. But also keep in mind, this is what we call the money band. That's from line 3, 4, and 5. In these areas right here is where you want to box these in. Okay. Now, if this comes down any lower, I'm going to bring my box even lower. Watch and see. We'll see if this closes down or up. If it closes down, I'll drop my box just a little bit. Looks like it's going to close up anyway. Now you could take that, by the way, right off that mid band. Sometimes I'll do this instead and then go ahead and add it on the other one as it comes through also. Okay, that way you could get in 2, for instance. See, like it is right there. Okay, that's the way you do that right there. Okay, now when they go to yellow bar like this, you want to protect some coin at a predictor. You want to run your runner out of the way. and we've got 2 on, and we're going to wait and see if this will pop up and give us an identified swing. See your low, your high. Is that a high or low yet? No, because it hadn't closed above this swing. Remember that little picture I showed earlier? That's what you're looking for. And that one wicked this, but it didn't close above it. So that's still not an identified swing. This is down here. Okay, if it'll close above, this will be our new identified swing, and it'll even be here. And watch and see if lightning doesn't draw up there. Just a second. If we get it up, that is. There you go. See how lightning drew up in real time? Now, I would have taken that off already, but I had it going about 15, 20 times. But let's go ahead and look and see if we can get another trade. Where have they not been? Anyone? Well, they haven't checked this swing yet at 14, have they? They checked this one a minute ago down here. So let's see if they'll check this one, and I'll put in a buy at the bottom if it comes down here to this line that they haven't checked yet. Draw exactly on your charts and see if they don't check them. Now, does this mean that it won't take it out? No. But it does mean that they have not checked this. This is still an uptrend, so we're only looking for longs right now. Let's see if we can get another trade. We got 1 on. We're going to buy another one if it comes down into this box. Touch +2. Didn't quite make it. We didn't add one, but it came to this line instead, 14. Now, could I go ahead if I wanted to and add by moving my little box? And the answer is actually yes on that. So I can move it and then go ahead and get that extra contract. If that does touch +2, it should fire 1 more. See if it'll come a little bit lower. Oh, no, it wouldn't either because I had the top one inactive. Sorry about that. Well, we'll just forget it. We got 1 on. My top one was inactive. Anybody that knows how to trade the region knows I just messed up. There you go. We just got it anyway. It came down within 2 ticks of it. So we're good to go. So, looking to the right side of the chart, does everybody see? Let me get rid of lightning over here to the left. And we'll get rid of the region too so you can see the chart better. All right, so you have a low, you have a high, you have an established low because they took out this high, right? With a closed bar on this bar right here. This one was wicked, but it was still above it, so that bar counts also. Okay, all it has to do is close above this swing. So you have a low, you have a high, have a higher low, you have a higher high when this bar closes, but I don't really trust it if it just does a wick like this, like 1 little tick above. But if it then closes another bar, I'm pretty good. All right, so where's your identified swing on here? Well, right now it is right here. Okay, but it's getting soon to be right here. Let's see if it'll come here. What does it have to do, team? Anybody been with us a long time? It has to close above this over here, doesn't it? Has it closed above that yet? It's trying, but it hadn't. If that bar closes up, where's our swing? So where could our stop be? Hadn't closed up, right? Speed this up a little bit again. If this closes up, not yet. There it is. Where's your swing? It's right underneath, right there. And usually you want to fade it back maybe a tick or so. That way they don't just wick you out, even with a closed bar. See why I've got 2 stops on here? Anybody? This is actually your stop that's with Viper, Object Trader. This is your stop that's at your broker. Now the reason for that is, so this stop is hidden from prying eyes, and it has to actually close below it to take me out of this trade. Watch and see if this takes out this swing. It might. If it does, it does. But look at that, higher low. See there? Only one tick, but it's still a higher low. Everybody see that? If you draw the line right here, right there at that wick, you'll notice that that one's one tick above it. See there? Or is it exactly the same? It might be exactly the same, actually. Let's see if it's going to stop us out. It might. If it does, guess what we do, team? We get ready to take another trade, don't we? Okay, by what I've been teaching, you're up at 1:45 in the morning. Where's the next trade on this chart? Anybody? Well, let's see where it hadn't checked yet. It hadn't checked here. Okay, let's get rid of lines. We've got to diagnose this quick because it's going to pop on us. All right, high, low, higher, high. Identified swing, right? That's on our medium trend. If this is going to head up, what do you think? Need a higher low, right? So what do you think if this actually closes up here or box it? Got time, just hit insert when you got a region up, and we'll take a little break out. There we go, we just got it, and we'll turn it back on and see if we can get another one. And by the way, we can even move our box while it's active on the chart and make it fire. See, I can move that little box, and if it pops up above that T, which is your top of your box, it will fire one more contract. Notice that that was a higher low. Okay? Remember what we were talking about a few minutes ago? Higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Same thing on a short. It just draws the opposite direction, right? Almost laughed there. Okay, let's see if we can get one more. And where's our identified swing on this chart? Well, to stay in this particular trade, since it went deeper, we'd want to use this as our stop. See right there? You don't want to go any lower than that or you're not heading up anymore. Okay. Let's see if we can get a little trade. Now here pretty soon we're going to get to the open of the market. This should easily give us another trade, by the way. They'll sometimes come and wick this right here. See, I also turned on the bottom of the box too, so we're good to go. We got two in. Our stop is still underneath here. We're in the red right now. Is it going to bounce? Well, it looks like it to me. Bounced right off my line. Drew the line exactly on the chart. It came down and kissed it. You know, when they're sideways like this, they will come down and check these support levels. Even, you know, instead of just a tick, sometimes you'll get a higher low. Sometimes they may take that out just a little bit. My stop is right here underneath this swing, right there. I'll put it 2 ticks underneath it and should hold. And I would probably turn this back on if I was trading this in real time. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and take, there's 3. Is it going to take us out? We'll find out. So far, is that a higher low than over here? The answer is yes. See how they do? They check micro. If they can break micro, they go down and check secondary swings. And if they can break secondary swings, they check these medium swings. Your goal as a trader, though, is to look at these highs, lows, higher high, higher low. This one never counted because it never, remember by my rule, high, low, did that have a higher high to establish that swing there? No. But this swing was established here. You had a high, you had a low, and you definitely had a higher high. Took out the swing. So that is your established what we call a medium swing. And notice how this one came within a tick of it. But that's still a higher low. Albeit a little choppy, right? But that's still a higher low. So that still goes into the, it basically is an uptrend still because guess what? You got a higher low. And as long as you get higher lows, you're still looking to trade to the long side. Okay? Now let's see. I'm going to cut this off right now, and I want y'all to pick the next trade for sure. I'm going to try to slow this down a little bit. All right, we just diagnosed the charts. I've talked for almost an hour. Anybody, where's the next trade on this chart? We've got two choices, really, okay? We can actually go ahead and take a breakout. You know, for instance, if this little, I would have taken it down in here probably because it came close to stealth, but if you're going to take a breakout trade at all, make sure it doesn't go against you. You know, for instance, if I turn this on to bar close long, that's considered a breakout trade, okay? And I would literally put my stop underneath there if this even fires at all. You see what I mean? That's actually a little breakout trade because we don't know if this is going to head up some more. It might, okay? But you look over here and it's already checked that swing pretty close, okay? So where do you think this trade is more than likely going to come down to? Anybody? I'll draw you the line on the chart here pretty soon. Let's see if it does. It went up through 64. Well, we got a little bar close trade. Let's see if it works. I meant to turn that off. But let's just see if it works. No big deal. Higher lows, higher highs, right? I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. Since we've only got one, we're going to have to stick with it. Where would I let this go? Let's see. I'd probably let it go at least to there and probably put my stop just a couple of ticks underneath it with exit on close turned on. And let's see if it bounces off of this swing right here. I'm going to draw a line in real time. Like so. That's the same spot as that one. So it should hit its head there, shouldn't it? Now keep in mind I had bar close turned on rather than actually drawing a little box or anything. So we're in that one prematurely because I forgot to turn that off. But I'm going to leave it on. I want to just see if this thing will continue up. Because it might. Let's see if it does or doesn't. If it takes me out, it takes me out. I'm not worried about it. There you go. You're up. There you go. Is the low established yet, team? Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. There it is. Now, see, we were looking to establish this low by taking out this swing to the left, but it actually took out this swing to the left, so it actually established that low. Everybody see that? Okay. So what I'm going to ask the team next, and we're getting ready to wrap in about, what, 7 minutes? Got a little cramp in my leg. I got to move just a little bit. Bear with me just a second. Okay, what we're going to do, wow, you get older, you get that. I got a cramp in my leg just a minute ago. About got me. All right. I'll be 65 this year, though, so I guess I could use a cramp or two, especially when I've been sitting here in this chair for a while. All right, let's see. What we're going to do, we're going to see if anybody can pick the next trade on this chart, because I already see it. You want to just kill the trade and see if I'm right? All right, let's look to the left to trade the right. They checked this swing here. They haven't checked this swing here, right? Look to the left to trade the right. All right, they haven't checked this swing here. On the left. So this is my sweet spot right here. I just gave you the trade. Sorry about that. That's where the trade's at. Everybody see that? Why is that trade there? What do you think? Look at that. Bounced right off of it, right off my line. You want to bet if it'll probably check that line too, though? I'll bet you it'll check that line too, because if they haven't checked it, they're going to check it. Watch and see. Look at that. On the money. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you know exactly where to draw on your charts? Because after tonight, if you start really looking at those trade areas like that, now we missed the trade, but you saw me draw it exactly where it should be. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how to also see when they finally give up the ghost too. Okay. Because more than likely you get it given up at some time. Let's draw our lightning 3. This has been heading up a lot. High, low, higher, high, higher, low. Basically same high. So this is your established swing, right? On this particular chart. And it's getting ready to be here. Let's see if it does. I'll just speed this all up because we need to wrap pretty soon. Isn't that your new established low? Right there on what we call lightning 3. Anybody? It is, isn't it? It absolutely is. So, and by the way, that just hit over 25,000, because so more than likely you're going to get some kind of a pullback. But let me ask a quick question of the team, just real quick. Where would you think, if this decides to change trends, that it would do it at? Now, we don't know it's going to do it, but if it does, you can clearly see the line, right? High, low, higher, high. So if this decides to break here, we could easily bounce off of here too. Keep that in mind, right? We could definitely bounce off of here. So let's see if we can get one more little trade. I think we just missed it, by the way, right here. See where it came to mid-band? Okay. You can chase it if you want to, but I'd probably would have wanted it right there. See, because that's where it was checking. If you took it like right now, I'd probably go for 10 ticks and do literally like 3 and put a tight stop on it. Something like that. Because we were late on it. Okay, let's see if it works though. Hopefully I didn't run out of data. There we go, we just got it. Okay, now where is your identified swing getting ready to be? Let's see if it draws a number there. Identified medium swing is right here. Are they finally ready to give up the ghost on this one? Yep. See it? What do you think? What's the trade now? Well, based on what I just taught, high, low, higher, high, every one of these have been going up. Isn't this actually starting to break down? So could we actually trade this? Well, let's see if it'll work. I'll put a wedge. We'll draw a trend line. No, I'm not going to draw it like that. I'll draw it from this one. From here to here. And if it breaks, we'll do like a touch +2, and we'll see if we get anything. Now, so far that was just nothing but a little phantom, and that's fine. But this is starting to break down now. Now, notice why this is actually not just a normal phantom, because it took out what we call a medium swing. Look over here. Let me see if I can find one. Let's see here. Yeah, see, like this one here. This one never broke the medium swing. See how you had a high, a low, a higher high, and a higher low, right? But look at the difference over here. It's totally different. This is actually taking out our medium swing. You have a high, low, higher, high. Okay, now it didn't do this with a number, and that's fine, because you don't have to get a number on these. Because this is still, if you draw it in your mind or on your chart, you can see that you had a thrust up, right? You had a retrace, and you had a higher high. So that's actually an identified swing. So when they take those identified swings out like that, then they're probably, very possibly, and especially with this red stealth and everything too, they're more than likely trying to head down. I don't know why I got a trade on my wedge on that one. I must have gotten real close to that. I bet I did. Okay, that's okay. Let's see if we can get this trade to continue or not. Now, this is what I call a little bit of an aggressive trade, but by what I was teaching just now, let's see if the charts will agree with us. Yep, they agreed. All right, where's the next trade on this chart? Anybody that draws on your charts? They just broke down from support. So here is a resistance area, right? There's another one right there, just a little higher, not much. And we have a predictor right here, okay? So let's see if we can get something on this. It may not come up to a predictor yet, but I'll show you how to trade this. Let's see if we can get something here. Came to stealth. Now, this is actually even trying to take out the identified swing that's even larger. See it barely taking it out? Yeah, just missed it because I'm going 15 times, but let's see if we can get the retrace trade. All right, they checked here. No, they didn't either. They came close, so let's see if they'll check there. Let's see if predictor will draw where I think it should. I'm going to do a predictor if we can get a trade. Drawing on our chart. Got within 2 ticks of predictor, right? Now let's see if this rolls over. Now keep in mind that you don't have to just take a predictor trade like I did just then, especially with 2, because what you can do if you want is do a little region box instead. Box that little jewel in like that, move it to where it just made its little swing, and turn that one off, turn that one on, short out, touch plus like 2, should get down to the low. That's a mid-band trade, first time after a trend change, which is usually a pretty good trade. And by the way, if this pops up a little bit, which it looks like it might, you've got resistance right there, and they barely took it out. Let's go ahead and tighten this just a little bit, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it a little tighter, because it came right to resistance that we wanted at mid-band. And it looks like you're going to get you another trade. Maybe. There you go, just got 4. All right. Now notice that I only have the one target, so we'll just have to move this, unfortunately. So that's fine. I would probably go ahead and protect it along that low right in through there, because that's a swing they haven't checked. Let's see if it hits it. Then we're going to wrap. There you go, just got it. Okay, you see another trade just set up just now? It rolled over, didn't it? Okay. If you got a minute, let's just see if we can get another trade. We just missed that one. Let's look and see where they haven't checked yet. Look to the left, trade the right. They did check here. They haven't checked this one, though. To the left. Let's draw another line. They haven't checked it. That's also a swing over here to the left. So we'll see if we can get up in here even a little higher, because they haven't checked that. Drawing your lines on your charts. And if they get up there, I will short that. Let's see if they get up in there. When they haven't checked an area, you can count on them checking it. Oh, they got so close. I may have just missed that trade. They got within 3 ticks. I should have turned it on 3 instead of 2. Nope, we're still going to get it. Nope, missed it. May still get it. Let's raise this up. This may come actually to the top of this swing right here. Okay, we just got us a little trade, and I'll go ahead and turn on the bottom one just in case it comes through the bottom. That's a perfect little trade, by the way. It did wick it a little bit, but that's what we still call a short trade because it came into phantom first time after a trend change. See how this checks everywhere on your chart? Now notice that it popped these areas right here, so we had already checked over here, and we said, well, you know what? They've already checked that, so you got to look to the left. They had a line right there, and it quantified right here also. And that turned into be another good trade. And I would put my stop just in case right across there where that swing is. And keep in mind, I turned off all our targets, so basically we should have had more targets. We could by just simply going like that, and we'd have more targets. Okay, I just closed it and then put it back in. Let's see, they haven't checked 25,443. Well, keep in mind that what they'll do is they're liable to just continue down and check. For instance, now this is actually breaking up a little bit more. We flattened out because it got our stop. Let's see, you got resistance right here. You've got a little swing area right there. Let's see if we can get another trade. Unless this breaks out. This is a low, high, lower low. So if this breaks this line right here, we could start heading up instead of down. But let's see if it does. Resistance. Lightning swing, not identified. This one is right here. There you go. You just got you another trade. Okay, it kissed resistance, and you got you another trade. So, by what you learned tonight, what does everybody think? You think more than likely you're going to probably be able to trade just a little bit better with Viper? Because these trades really do work. If you were in the room today, to give an example, we called a long trade on oil. Matter of fact, I'll show it to you. Let me just run this at and we'll wrap in 3 minutes, but I'm going to run this at like 500 times because I want to show you. This is 5:44 in the morning, so it's going to take a few minutes, but not long. Anybody see a long trade yet? Tell me when you see a long trade. Because we called it in the room. There's another short. See it hit my line perfectly? Now, I'm keeping this too fast to trade, obviously. Still heading down, don't you think? Look at that. Now, does anybody remember in the room where a long trade was called about 8:30-ish? You have a low, you have a high, you have a same low across here, you got a swing across here, you got resistance across here at the same spot. Does anybody remember this little trade that was called in the room this morning? If it broke this area right here, we talked about actually boxing it in. Watch what happened with oil. And I called this trade live too. That one went down further, so we're still good. All right, let's draw it again. It's right there. Now keep in mind that was also a good short that rolled over, but we're going to watch where it actually broke up. Right there. See it breaking that line? Remember that trade call that was made in the room this morning? Like I said, I'm running it 500 times, so we couldn't possibly hit this thing. But look at this. One more thing. Where's the next trade on this chart? Anybody? How about a predictor? You want to watch and see if it hits a predictor? Let's see if we can get a trade. I'm going to try to hit it with a market order even if I'm fast enough. No, it's too quick. It's right there. Where's the next trade? Let's see if we can get it. I see it. I see it. Right there. Everybody see it? Thrusts up, pulls back. Here's your two little sweet spots right there. This is where you'd be looking for the trade. And look at that. Bounced right off my line. Check my other line. What do you think? Comes down to these lines, doesn't it? Does it mean they won't take it out a little bit? No, the answer is no on that. They sometimes do. Okay? But as traders, we got to be ready to take these little boxes, because we even called this trade in the room on oil too. But if you'd gotten this trade right here that I called in the room, that was so monster of a trade, it was just unreal. You didn't even have to trade this last one. Okay? And by the rule of thumb that I just said, does anybody think that it wouldn't be easier by being able to see the lines on your charts in real time? Because it really is. Okay? It really is. So learn to draw on your charts, learn to draw trend lines, learn to take the trade at the proper spot, and you'll be amazed. I see a little trend line right now. Could this actually work for later even? You want to try it and see? I usually like to move my wedges a little bit out of the way. Let's see if we can get a little trade here. What do you think? You do have resistance right across here. Let's see where they haven't checked just yet, though. They checked here. They haven't checked this one, but that would mean they would have to be going with a lower low. So they're not going to check that. They haven't checked this one here. That's where my next trade is, by the way. See it? Let's see if it does. I'm not going to try to get it. We'll just try to see if it hits my line. Look at that, right off my line. Now that was late, obviously, with a wedge, but see how they hit that line exactly? All you've got to do is learn to draw on your charts, because you're going to see the swings, you're going to be able to see the lines, and you just simply draw them in real time. If this decides to go down instead of up, where do you think they'll have to take out before they can do that? Anybody? They would have to take out support. And you can count on it usually at some point in the game, because they'll finally give up the ghost. And I'll run this real quick, and let's just see if they break at all. Still heading up. You could have gotten that trade. Could have gotten that trade. This trade's going to go a little bit deeper. I'll bet it goes to here. Now it's starting to break down a little bit, but it didn't take out support, did it? Let's see if they break down at all. They might break down. Still not taking out support, are they? But each time this comes into this mid-band area, couldn't you see boxing that in? Boxing it in, boxing it in. Predictor, box in trade, short. Another predictor right there. Break support. Where's it not been? Right there at 486. Let's see if it tags it. Look at that. See that resistance right there? That was at 500 times, by the way, but I called that trade in the room this morning. 486 is where we drew a line on the chart, and it nailed it exactly. Okay, I think that's enough drawn on the charts for the night. The webinar ran 14 minutes over. I apologize for it running a little bit longer, but I think you can clearly see that if you draw on your charts, they will come to those spots. And as long as they're given our predictors and everything, look at these trades, predictor down, predictor down. These are good trades. There's a predictor down again. Now, if it takes it out, guess what? This thing's starting to head up again. 500 times, obviously, but where would you put your trade next time on this? What does everybody think? Well, it already hit it, unfortunately, right here. See where it took out that swing right there, and it came right back down on top of it. Okay, draw on your charts and you'll be able to see this stuff in real time. We'll do it in the room in the morning and show you for true on the charts how you can see this in real time. Okay, thanks everybody for coming. Hope you enjoyed it, and keep in mind that when we draw on our charts in that room and we say box it in at mid-band and things like that, when we say no bias, it means turn it on long and short. If we say shorts only, we're talking about boxing it here, boxing it here, boxing it here. Okay? So these little predictors will help you on those like that. When we say box it in like that, it's usually going to be right around these mid bands. All right. Thanks, everyone, for coming. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will do it in the room tomorrow. Bye, everyone. Thanks.